Good evening. We'd like to welcome everybody to our Elmore County Commission work session dated Monday, November 27, 2017 at 5 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We'd like to recognize Representative Mike Holmes being with us today. We appreciate you being here. We'll begin with our regular business, review the minutes of the November 13, 2017 Commission meeting with any corrections. Any commissioners have any comments or corrections for those minutes? Okay, we'll move forward with the review of the memorandum of warrants for the period of November 4, 2017 through November 17, 2017.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, for the period stated, the memorandum of warrants totaled $1,075,000, $75,060.67.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Okay, we will proceed with old business. Discuss and or update on the TAG revenue collections proposal. I'd like to first express appreciation to those who were here at our previous meeting when we had a public meeting regarding the consideration of the consolidation of the TAG and revenue collections to put all of that in what we termed a one-stop shop. We appreciate all the feedback that we received from citizens and from the commissioners. Obviously, we also appreciate the preparation by Revenue Commissioner Macon in providing us some details. We learned that there's a lot of things to be discussed. There's a lot of work to be done with regards to that. Some great points were brought up regarding what the savings would be and what other changes might take place. And I can report that there's a lot of work being done to provide that information. We had the Thanksgiving week last week, obviously, but there's really no movement on that other than we've given the marching orders to those involved to provide us with more information. And then we would bring it up again at a later date. Any commissioners have any comments or questions regarding that?
I do.
Yes, sir.
I thought that Commissioner Macon was going to be here tonight, and Judge Stubbs, Judge Ensign, excuse me, in relation to this. I did not know that they were not coming because I had prepared for Mr. Macon to be here. And one of the questions that I had was in relation to this, that I don't think we need to rush into it. We need to take a little bit of time and figure it out and not worry about it before this current legislative session, because I asked for a cost analysis from Revenue Commissioner Macon, and if we did raises for the employees that were working in the revenue office that was going to be doing the same equivalent job as the probate, which we gave raises to. We need to talk about that and job descriptions. And there are several things, Mr. Chairman, that I thought we need to talk about before we get any further down the line. So, you know, if we're trying to make it to the current legislative session, we need to make sure that we talk about it and discuss it. And I'm disappointed that Judge Enslin's not here tonight and Revenue Commissioner Macon's not here tonight to discuss this, because we talked about it 2 weeks ago. And I thought they would be here. Because I mentioned to all of my fellow commissioners, we had a probate judge that was in office for 18 years and a revenue commissioner was in office for 24 years. And nobody except me had talked to them about what their position was on this issue. Both of those positions were that this didn't make any sense. And I'll give you an example of that. I'll ask my fellow commissioners this. All of y'all's names are before, I think, September. How many of y'all have went and bought your car tags and paid your ad valorem taxes when you bought your car tags? Not one of you have. Is that correct, or am I wrong? That's a question.
I've done it in this month because my business car tags are renewed in November.
So, you paid your ad valorem taxes for December and November, correct? Is what you're saying?
My ad valorem taxes are due October 31st, and they're late December 31st, so
Right.
I have paid them.
Okay.
But I think that, and I appreciate what you're saying. I think what I said in the beginning is exactly what you're saying, that we've mentioned, as you stated, to Revenue Commissioner Macon, the things that you just talked about, cost analysis, raises, and job descriptions. We've asked Revenue Commissioner Macon to work on those things, and that information has not been provided to us. So I think that we are to a point right now where we, as county commissioners, have nothing to act on, so we will continue to wait until they're the ones that brought the idea to us. So we, and you specifically, asked for those three things at the last meeting, and the fact that we don't have those three things here now either says that they haven't gotten those things together yet, or because they didn't ask to come and present those things to us as you had asked for that information. So I think that I wholeheartedly agree that there's no need to rush into anything. We're waiting on information from them so that we can make decisions. And if that information comes in March, then it comes in March.
Right. And I agree with that. And my reason for asking is, in my 64 years here, I buy my tags in May because that's my name. I've never paid my ad valorem taxes in May, ever. I don't pay them that much early. So I think there's other avenues to pursue, because I agree with my fellow commissioner here that we might could do something to help people in Tallahassee or Millbrook with their ad valorem taxes in November and December by putting someone over in their offices to do that. But I don't think that we need to combine this for the whole year when we're not going to be doing ad valorem taxes in most of the months prior to November and December. That's my thought. The other thing is, we gave raises, well, let me rephrase that. Raises were given to the people in the probate office at approximately 8%. We haven't talked about a cost analysis for what we're going to do for the people in the Revenue Commission office that's going to be doing the same job. Are we going to give them an 8% raise, or what are we going to do? So there's a lot of things to discuss before we get any further. So I think we need to slow it down, like you said, Mr. Chairman, and not worry about the current legislative session. I see Mr. Holmes is out here tonight, and we need to worry about later down the road. We don't need to rush into this and not do the people fair in the Revenue Commission office in relation to the probate office. Because we need to do new job descriptions, we need to do salary ranges, we need to decide what we're going to do about putting people in these offices. So it's here to discuss and update the TAG and Revenue Commission proposal, and that's what I'm doing. I think we need to slow it down, and let's talk about it much later and not worry about the current legislative session as far as that goes. And we'll worry about it sometime in the future when we can come up with what's fair to the people in the Revenue office and what's fair to the constituents that we have out there. Because I agree with my Commissioner Daughtry here that we need to do something in Tallahassee and something in Millbrook, but why couldn't we put part-time clerks over there 2 or 3 months out of the year at the end of the year? I mean, if that's a violation of the law, then we can't do it. But if it's not, why don't we do that and that'll facilitate that? Because I've never bought in 64 years utility trailer tag, which I got, a boat tag, a car tag, and ad valorem taxes in May. I'm not going to do it. So that's not an issue. We need to think about the big picture and go forward with it. So, and that's the end of my statement.
Anything else?
Yeah, Commissioner Holt, I just like to add, I agree, we need to take this slow. From my perspective, I've had no intentions of this thing moving very fast. I think at the last meeting when we had our public hearing, we all decided, of course, through the conversation that we had with the comments made at this podium and our comments we made, that we were going to ask for additional information and take it slow. The other thing, I have gone into this not thinking that the purpose of it would be so you could come to the courthouse one time and do all your business at one time, whether that be buy a sticker for your manufactured home, buy a tag for your utility trailer, or pay your taxes, your property tax, ad valorem tax. I haven't gone into this thinking that this process, if we or this change, if we approve it, would minimize the number of visits per year for a citizen. It would only make it easier for them to have access to be compliant with those mandates that are put on the citizens, and it would be done in a more efficient manner as far as operating these two offices. In so much as when you stand in line to pay your land tax or buy your tag, the one person that you deal with can handle all of that. And it hasn't been, from what I have understood, the goal hasn't been to explore this option in an effort to minimize the number of visits that a citizen would make to the courthouse.
Thank you. We'll continue to wait for more information. We'll proceed with consider rescheduling the public hearing for a 020 restaurant retail liquor license application by El Patron Mexican Grill, LLC for El Patron Mexican Grill, 65 Lightwood Road, Deatsville, Alabama, 36022 to Monday, December 11, 2017 at 5 p.m. If you'll recall, that was on a previous agenda to hold that public hearing. However, the request was not properly advertised, and so we're having to reschedule that date. Any questions or comments regarding that? All right, we'll proceed with the discussion. Private cemetery application for Manor Family Cemetery in Titus, Alabama. Mr. Byer, do we have any update on that?
We still do not have the required information, so this will not be an action item for y'all.
Okay, thank you. Proceeding, discuss petition for reimbursement of excess funds from tax sale of real property by Stanley D. Foster for number 29190624000002.001, and consider petition for reimbursement of excess funds from tax sale of real property by Stanley D. Foster for number 29190624000002.004. Mr. Courtney, do we have the information on that?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I've reviewed the petition and the ancillary documents that accompanied the petition, and everything appears to me to be in order.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any questions for Mr. Courtney? Okay, we'll proceed now to new business. We would like to invite a citizen who has requested to be on our agenda tonight, Mrs. Judy Robertson, to come to the podium. Mrs. Robertson, if you would please restate your name and your address where you live, and it's my understanding you're going to talk to us about curb and gutters on Jasmine Hill Road.
Correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Judy Robertson, 58 Pine Forest Drive. I am here to request curbs and gutters for a section of Jasmine Hill Road, which goes from the water tower going north toward Wetumpka, but going down a steep hill. It is a total of about less than half a mile, and there are a total of 5 intersections in that steep grade. In 2007, county engineer, I first met him, and he came out and I requested that he, deepen the ditches on Pine Forest Drive and open the culverts that had been closed. One of the culverts is still totally closed, and that's the one that would take the majority of the water off of my retaining wall, foundation, garage, laundry room, and terrific erosion in my backyard and my fill lines. And over the 7 years, I have had to cut off my driveway. There are 2 berms, dirt berms across my driveway, and I have been unable to get my car in the driveway or the garage. Over the 7 years, I have had to do my own work in the yard, and as a result, I have several deep gullies where the water had previously run down Jasmine Hill Road. It's now running onto private property, trespassing of my land. I have a very deep ditch in front of my house because the water kept crossing over onto my columns, front columns, which is a very low porch, and the water goes straight down off of the road without the really deep ditch. Now, on the other side of the road, there's no ditch at all. At the corners of Jasmine Hill and Pine Forest, there's no ditch at all. And there's a partial opening of under the driveway culvert. My culvert is open. My lower culvert is open. But the culvert directly across from me and directly across on the corner, they are being shut down with sand and dirt and plants. And that stretch also has a lot of debris. Is Luke here tonight? Luke is not here tonight.
Luke is here. Mrs. Robertson, as I committed to you earlier today, and I've been to your property before, the things that you've mentioned with regards to the culverts and the ditches on Pine Forest Drive, the culvert you mentioned that was stopped up with debris and other things, as I committed to you today that I will be out there tomorrow morning to walk the property with you, to look at the culvert and the ditches and the other things there, to determine or to evaluate what that situation is, and to then get our workers out there depending on what the circumstances are and proceed. With regards to your request for curbs and gutters on the half-mile stretch of Jasmine Hill Road, we appreciate you coming and making that request formally here at the meeting and giving us an opportunity as a county commission to be aware of your request, and and the 5 intersections that are in that stretch of road, and that along with all of the other projects that go throughout the county. We evaluate all of those things with first determining if there's a need, second prioritizing all the needs throughout the county, because many of them, some of them, sinkholes for example, become a priority pretty quickly.
Okay, there have been drain issues on my land for 7 years Why was it not taken care of?
Ma'am, as you and I have talked many, many times, we, as a new county commission here, are working. I've been out to your property. I will go out to your property again tomorrow, and I can't state or make any comment regarding anything previous. However, my commitment to you is that I will come out to your property and we will walk through it step by step, and we'll see what we
I
can
do want to thank Chairman Stubbs. He's spoken with me twice today, and on many of the issues we agreed with greatly. He pointed out to me, I asked him, I said, can you be supportive of me tonight? His answer was, Ms. Robertson, the area would greatly be improved because of a number of houses that are in that area. There are 44 in our community that is impacted by this water coming off of County Road, Jasmine Hill.
That's right. And I followed that up with numerous other roads across the county that would all benefit from sidewalks, curbs, gutters, and everything else. So it's obviously that area, as with many other areas throughout our county, would benefit from all of those things.
And your answer on why the issue was not taken care of 7 years ago is? Well,
7 years ago, I do not know how these issues were addressed. I do not know what has been done by you or by anyone else up to this point. However, your request to be here tonight was to talk about curbs and gutters on Jasmine Hill Road.
Okay.
And we will continue these conversations.
Okay. Now, over that 7 years, I had requested to be back on the board, and I was turned down. I had water in my laundry room in 2015. It was a very, very cold day, and our engineer came out, and he would not get out of his car. He did not want to come in and look at the water in my laundry room.
Well, ma'am, I'm sorry you've had all of these difficult situations, and I hope that we're able to work towards some solutions.
When can I be back on, come back before what it is, I have been turned down for 7 years to come back and address my issues.
Well, ma'am,
can I come back and address my issues?
Ma'am, I'm sure there will be an opportunity to do that, but the immediate concerns, as you requested, were to be on the agenda regarding curbs and gutters on Jasmine Hill Road. We've had some discussions about your culvert and your ditches. I've committed to you to be there tomorrow morning to look at the culverts and ditches and to do the things that you've requested.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, we'll proceed. Discuss modifying commission meeting rules of procedure. This information, we have commission meeting rules and procedures that we abide by. There were some necessary changes to that with some of the personnel changes within our administrative staff, which required some clerical changes by naming the positions and the reporting structure and things like that. Mr. Courtney, you participated in this process.
I have.
Do you have any other comments or additions with regards to that?
No, sir, I don't. I've reviewed the proposed changes, and everything looks in order to me.
Were there any material changes to the procedures that we operate by other than the reporting procedures?
No, sir, there were not.
Okay. Any other questions?
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
What are the commission meeting rules and procedures that we're changing?
In the meetings and procedures document that we have, it says county administrator throughout the document. We no longer have a county administrator. We now have our operations officer, which requires a change in the document. And Mr. Courtney, can you address anything else?
That's it. It really just changes the identity from county administrator to the operations officer.
article
Can't
in
hear
there
you.
where you gonna change the way we do liquor licensing. Is that in there?
Yeah, that is our next item on the agenda.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's, there is, and I appreciate you saying that, because that is involved. Many years ago, the county commission adopted a 2-week advertisement for a liquor license. There's no statute that says how long that advertisement has to be. It's just something that the county commission makes a decision on. It was 2 weeks for many years. With this recent circumstance with El Patron and their challenge in meeting deadlines for the newspaper, and there were challenges with, they went to submit the application and they paid cash and it didn't make it in the paper, and there were so we've had to change the date of the meeting. We would propose that it would be a 1-week advertisement in the newspaper along with continual advertisement for the liquor license on the county website. From the day it's applied for, the advertisement for that will continually be on the county website, but it would just be 1 week in the newspaper.
Okay, and go ahead. I will give the floor to you.
And the responsibility for that advertisement, I presume, would still be the applicant?
Yes, the applicant is responsible for submitting the advertisement and paying for the advertisement.
Commissioner Reeves, I yield to you.
No, I just wanted, if the public wanted to know what we're talking, this is a procedure rules that govern the county commission. We passed this, and we had it passed through the legislature and everything else. I think in Vision, in 2000 we called it. And I was on here then, because before we just have a commission meeting when they have no set rules to go by. Now it tells us in here how we go by the proceedings that we use to govern our commission meeting. If anybody in the public want a copy of it, you'll be welcome. Just request it and you can have it. All right, that's it.
Okay.
Can I say something before you?
We've got that. We'll take care of it.
I go back to what I said earlier. Discuss modifying commission meeting rules and procedures. I don't know exactly what that means. Maybe I'm not quick enough to understand, but what does that mean? What are we modifying?
Commissioner Hope, the only thing we gonna do is, in this procedures, what we have here, the only thing we doing is have county administrator. We gonna use our, Richard Tyler, Chief Engineer and Operations Officer, is gonna be inserted there, and then you see on the page on over, and then it's gonna be about the liquor license. That's the only thing gonna change, and nothing else in it changes. And and we still gonna be using the same rules and procedure, except we gonna insert that in there.
Sorry, Mr. Mays. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You just requested to have a copy of that, correct? Yes, ma'am.
Maybe you've already answered, Mr. Reeves, but I just want to be clear, because what you've written here is modifying commission meeting rules of procedure. And on the surface, that says to me you're wanting to change the rules of procedure. That's what this says. But what I heard in the explanation, the only thing you were talking about changing is the reference to county administrator now becoming the new title,
Right.
former chief,
Operations.
That is correct.
buyer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not really a meeting rules procedure.
The document is called Commission Meeting Rules of Procedure.
Yeah.
We have a document that was adopted in 2000
Yeah.
that lays out our commission meeting rules of procedure. For example, who conducts the meeting?
Right.
How does the meeting proceed? How do we do all of the things that we're
Again,
doing
the
each week?
extent of the proposed changes is
We are modifying that document by changing
the title.
the title.
That's all.
That's it. Along with the alcohol beverage license, which we just discussed.
Mr. Courtney, this, The license that, the application rather, that El Patron has presented for us to consider, if we make this proposed change here, that's not gonna affect their process they're going through now in any way, is it?
It will not.
Okay, thank you.
That was great.
All right, any other? Okay, we'll proceed. Consider resolution to close county offices in emergency conditions. We've discovered as a county commission, over the last year that we've had a few days where we had severe and inclement weather, and we looked around for a document that would help us know how we should act or what we should do. There was just an assumption that the commissioners would talk to each other and evaluate the severity of the weather or the impending weather, and then we would make a decision for the safety of the citizens and the employees. But there was nothing that we had firm that clarified how that procedure would take place. And so we've taken all of the things that we've done and put pen to paper and created a resolution that would clarify some of the steps for us to go about that, which would hopefully relieve some of the chaos that happens on those days. It's kind of like being in school when there's a snow forecasted for the next day. Everybody's asking, are we going to be open or not?
Yeah.
And we were looking around trying to figure out, well, what document can we look at to find a solution to that? And there was none. So we've created this resolution which coordinates all of the employees of the county, because not only employees here, but we have employees in other locations, including the judicial complex with the circuit clerk, and we've put all that together to help us have a streamlined process to that. And this, along with anything else, obviously would be available to the public to review. And I'm grateful for this because it's a challenge. You know, everybody, you're either wrong or you're right, and half the people think you're wrong and half the people think you're right whenever you close something. So that is a challenge. Are there any comments from commissioners regarding this document? And Mr. Courtney, I know you helped put this together, including a lot of the codes of Alabama that grant us the authority to do that.
Yes, sir, that's correct. I reviewed the relevant code sections and included them in the resolution, and it is narrowly defined for temporary closures.
Right.
That I really, if there are any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Okay, Mr. Courtney, on the back of this page where I have down here about the second paragraph.
Yes, sir.
You say the people that we'll notify, you know, for the closure.
Yes, sir.
I would like to see it that, you know, that the chairman maybe get in touch with each commissioner and get them, you know, and let them know what's, you know, as close as, you know, they can say yea or nay to it, because we want our citizens and we want our employees to be safe. And each county commission have that responsibility. So I think if the chairman just would call, along with the EMA director, he always keeping us informed anyway. So you put that in somewhere where the chairman would call each commission, because we're responsible for 1/5 of the county.
I agree, and that's what we've done to this point when we've kind of winged it up to this point when we've had some severe weather. So I agree. And that's not a decision that I want to be solely responsible for. I want to make sure that everybody participates in that.
And I can recall one or two situations that have come about where we would have been would have had to call a special meeting, an emergency meeting, to actually close it. And I know one time there was a few of us out of town. We couldn't have really done that.
So now you just do it by the chairman calling each one.
With the county, other commissioners involved or made aware.
Yeah, Commissioner Reeves, that's what I was going to say. That's mainly what this does, is it just takes out that special meeting requirement. It still allows for all that consultation. I think that is the way it's designed, is to do that. So.
My question is, which I found out when I went to the commission office, what are we saying that we have to do to close the courthouse? Who decides that?
The commissioners.
Well, I know the commission does, but that's not what this document says. Doesn't this document say the chairman and 2 employees decide that? Is that not what it says? Or am I wrong?
Commissioner Reeves just made the comment that this should include all the commissioners in consultation. Is there a time you recall that I didn't call you?
No. My question is, what is the resolution going to say? Is it going to say 2 commissioners can decide, all the commissioners can decide on a phone call, or is it going to say the chairman and 2 employees can decide? That's all I'm asking. It's a simple question.
And the chairman and 4 commissioners.
It's a simple question.
I think that Commissioner Reeves just addressed that this will be in the commission as a whole. The 5 of us will be in consultation, and we will discuss whether it should be closed or not.
Okay.
But we also have to coordinate with the circuit court, because the circuit clerk is a county employee, but the circuit court isn't necessarily just Elmore County. So there are some challenges there, because we have county employees in that building and we have state employees in that building, and so there needs to be some coordination there. But my recommendation to the circuit clerk would be the recommendation of the 5 county commissioners. Not as I just stated, I don't want to have that responsibility of me deciding. That's why I would discuss that with all 5 commissioners, as I've done the 3 times that we have closed. One time I was in Disney World when we had the ice storm, which would have been a time that we couldn't, if 2 of us or 3 of us were gone, we couldn't have had a special meeting to close. That wouldn't have been a possibility. So I think...
excuse me.
Go ahead.
But the attorney will make the rulings in there to that effect, Commissioner Hope. And I think we all here are looking out for our employees and citizens, and you know, when the weather come about, and we want everybody to be safe. Sometimes it may be so bad they can't even leave the courthouse and go and had to put them in the basement. I've been here when we had to do that. But we want to make sure that our EMA director been doing a good job, and we know when things are coming, so we need to, you know, the commissioner going to be able to make that decision, and we're going to try to coordinate that with the circuit court.
So we'll ask our county attorney to make those necessary changes so that we can have a document that clarifies that, so that we're all comfortable.
Okay.
All right, we'll proceed. Discuss declaring attached list of Highway Department vehicles surplus, and consider selling through vehicle 156 through govdeals.com.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, the 3 vehicles that are listed on the attached list, one is a result of the transition plan that we will be eliminating. That will be the one that is sold through govdeals.com. The other 2 are vehicles that have been involved in wrecks and need to be surplus for scrap. And so by declaring this attached list surplus, that gives us the ability to scrap those 2 vehicles and seek some type of salvage value for those.
Thank you. All right, we'll proceed with the consent docket. We have travel memorandum. We have approved 10 hours sick leave donation from Randy Esco to Cole Cousins. Approved 40 hours sick leave donation from Barry Smith to Cole Cousins. Approved family medical leave request for Ann Margaret Trost. Personnel notifications. Notification of reclassifying Tanya Hand from mapping clerk to GIS tech effective 11/27/17. Notification of hire of Cameron Ricks, part-time corrections officer, to fill vacant position effective 11/12/17. Notification of termination of Chase Jenkins, corrections officer, effective 11/7/17. notification of resignation of Ryan Brown, Corrections Officer, effective 11/16/17. And I have one item that I would like to propose to the Commissioners, that it be added to our agenda in our business session. I was contacted today by the City of Wetumpka. As many of you know, Wetumpka High School football team has advanced to the semifinals of the state championship, and obviously they couldn't plan ahead on that. They didn't know if they were going to win on Friday night, but they did win, and they would like to have another pep rally as they did 2 or 3 weeks ago. However, this time they would like the pep rally to be on where the band could be on the courthouse steps, so that the citizens could be down a little bit lower and the band could perform there for the pep rally. I told them that I would propose that we add that to the agenda and it fall under all of our normal agreements with the city with regards to liability. The city has agreed to comply with our normal agreements on that, so there would be no, it wouldn't be us assuming any liability. It would just, the timeliness of it obviously is important because the game is this Friday and the pep rally is proposed to be Thursday at 6 o'clock. Is anybody in opposition to that being on our agenda? Okay, we'll proceed with the reports to the Commission. Chief Engineer Operations Officer, Mr. Byer.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, just a couple items for you for tonight. By the end of the week, we should have the county's financial statement prepared. Neil has been working hard on getting that ready. As soon as he has that, I will send that to y'all for review and any comment, and then that will most likely be advertised during the week of December 20th in our local paper. We'll also put that on the county website as well. You mentioned the courthouse closings. Our EMA office, Eric and his staff are working on an event on the 19th, a training exercise for the county for a winter weather event. This is where we'll go through the exercise, what will happen during one of those events. Typically we have 1 or 2 of those every winter, it seems like. And then the last item I have for you is a summary from NACO on the analysis of the House and Senate proposed tax reform. I think that's good for y'all to have in your hand, to be able to kind of see how that would affect county government and our citizens here. So, Mr. Chairman, that's all I have in the way of report. Do y'all have any questions for me?
Thank you. Mr. Courtney?
I have nothing further, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We'll proceed now to reports from the Commission. We'll begin with Commissioner Holt.
Yes, sir. I wanted to read something that's in our packet here in relation to what we just talked about the closing of the courthouse. It says, whereas the County Commission desires for the County Administrator, in consultation with the Chairman of the County Commission, to coordinate with the presiding Circuit Court Judge of the Judicial Circuit, the closing of the County Courthouse Complex and Probate and Revenue Commission satellite offices when situations are deemed necessary. I don't think we said that way a while ago, but anyway, I just want to read that. But I'll go back to what I said earlier about the taxes and titles and ad valorem taxes. I'm very disappointed that Revenue Commissioner Macon and Judge Inslee's not here tonight to discuss this issue. So, based on that fact, I think we need to table it and forget about it till they come back and give us a proposal about what it's going to cost us, what we're going to do with job descriptions, what we're going to do with salaries, what we're going to do with the whole proposal, because we don't know that. This is the second time we've talked about it. So it's fruitless to continue to talk about something when we don't know what we're talking about as far as what the circumstances are. I've not had anything to say but the cost versus the savings are going to be, or anything to do about how it's going to benefit the citizens. So I think that we need to table this and forget about talking about it till we can get those 2 gentlemen to come here and give us a cost analysis and discuss the exact circumstances and procedures that it would affect. Because we're gonna ask people in the Revenue Commissioner's office to do stuff that they don't do. We hadn't talked about what we're gonna do about their salaries. We hadn't talked about what we're gonna do about their job descriptions or any of that. So, we're premature in talking about it for the last 2 meetings. And I don't understand why we continue to discuss it when we don't know what the facts are. And I think it's only fair for the ladies in the Revenue Commissioner's office to know what their jobs are going to be, and if they're going to get the kind of raises that was voted on by the commissioners to give the probate judge people. We hadn't talked about any of that, so I just don't think it's fair to do that. And like I said, I don't have any hidden agenda, and I don't care about one department versus another, but I think we got to be fair across the board to everybody. And we hadn't talked about any of that, but we're still talking about what we're going to do about combining. And I would ask again, one more time, to my fellow commissioners, and all of y'all's names are early in the list. How many of you have paid your ad valorem taxes when you bought your tags? Not one of you have, I would guess. So, my suggestion is there's a lot of ways to solve this problem. Maybe we put some temporary clerks in Tallahassee and Millbrook in November and December to collect ad valorem taxes. But why do we need to move all this under one umbrella when we're only talking about a temporary situation? I've been in this county for 64 years, and my tags are due in May. I have never paid my property taxes in May. I'll admit that right now, first-handed. I'm not going to pay 7 months ahead of time. I don't think anybody else is. So we're talking about utility. We're talking about utility vehicles. We're talking about cars. We're talking about boats. We're talking about mobile home. We're talking about car tags. And I agree with my commissioner here. We want to make things easier for the constituents. But we don't want to upset the apple cart when we got, and I said this last meeting, and I'll say it one more time, then I'll be through. I talked to the Revenue Commissioner and the probate judge. Between the two of them, they got 42 years experience. They said this ain't a good idea to do it just carte blanche. So, I don't think we can go back and say that we need to do something different without thinking about it in its entirety. And I'll say that from now on, because I do agree with Mr. Chairman that things are changing and all, but everything in the world is not better than it used to be. There are some things that used to be better than it is now. So we need to look at all that. And I'm a little concerned that we're talking about doing all this and talking about doing it a couple of meetings in a row, and we're not looking at the whole picture. Because I will not vote to do this without specifically stating what we're going to do to those employees that are going to pick up additional duties, what their salaries are going to be. I mean, it just don't make sense to me to do that. But anyway, that's where I stand. So, good, bad, or indifferent. And it's like somebody said to me today about El Patrons or about this or whatever. You might not get reelected if you have that position. I wasn't elected to get reelected. I was elected to do a job. No, that's what I'm going to do. So, thank you very much.
Commissioner Daughtry.
I have nothing at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Mercer.
Thank you, Chairman. Just want to make sure everybody knows about the tree lighting ceremony at Village Green in Millbrook this Thursday night at 6 o'clock. And then they're going to have the Christmas parade in Millbrook on Saturday. There'll be vendors in Village Green as well that morning, and then the parade will start sometimes around 2 o'clock, and it'll run from the area of the Smokehouse Restaurant up to City Hall. So please come join us. That's all I have, Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Reeves.
I don't have anything. I appreciate everyone coming.
Thank you. I'd like to encourage all of you to support the Wetumpka High School football team this Friday night. They're in the semifinals of the state championship. They're playing Hillcrest Tuscaloosa. The game's Friday night at 7 p.m. You can buy tickets at Wetumpka High School. You can pre-purchase tickets. Tickets are $10. That is set by the Alabama High School Athletic Association. It's not set by the school. They're $10, and you can also purchase them online, I believe. And I would recommend, if you plan to go, purchase early. Last Friday night, people were standing out in line during the second quarter trying to buy tickets to get in. So if you want to go, purchase tickets early. Also, a reminder of the Christmas on the Coosa Parade, which is December the 9th, Saturday, December the 9th at 2 p.m. And the night before that, December the 8th, is the Downtown Business Open House and the Nativity, which is a traditional event here in downtown Wetumpka, and I'd encourage all of you to participate. I appreciate my fellow commissioners and their efforts, and I look forward to continuing to work on various items. We'll now move forward with important calendar dates. Ms. Kim?
Wednesday, December 6th and Thursday, December 7th is the ACCA Legislative Conference in Florence, Alabama. Saturday, December 9th is the next countywide cleanup at the locations listed from 9 to 1, noting that the rotating location is going to be at the Cusata Post Office this month. Monday, December 11th is our next meeting at 5 with the business meetings following. Wednesday, December 13th is the Highway Department Christmas Luncheon at 11:30, and Thursday, December 14th from 7:30 to 9 is the Employee Christmas Breakfast.
Thank you very much. We'll reconvene in a few minutes. All right. We'd like to welcome you to our business meeting. We will reconvene. We'll begin with an invocation. I will offer it. Our Heavenly Father, we are grateful for this opportunity to gather together and to discuss matters important to the citizens of Elmore County, and we are grateful for the privilege and opportunity it is for us to serve and to work with one another and to work with our local legislators and other leaders to and towards the betterment of our county. We are grateful for this holiday season, for Thanksgiving and time with family and friends, and for the upcoming Christmas to celebrate the birth of our Savior Jesus Christ. We ask Thee to bless our meeting this day and be with us, that we might be guided and directed by Thy hand, and that we will know and recognize from whom all blessings come. And this we say in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Ms. Kim, will you call roll?
Commissioner Holt?
Here.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Here.
Chairman Stead?
Here.
Commissioner Mercer?
Here.
Commissioner Reeves?
Here.
All right, we'll proceed with regular business. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the November 13, 2017 Commission meeting as presented during the work session?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stead?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve the memorandum of warrants for the period of November 4, 2017 through November 17, 2017?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stead?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve rescheduling the public hearing for a 020 restaurant retail liquor license application by El Patron Mexican Grill LLC for El Patron Mexican Grill, 65 Lightwood Road, Deatsville, Alabama, 36022 to Monday, December 11, 2017 at 5 p.m.?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stead?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve petition for reimbursement of excess funds from tax sale of real property by Stanley D. Foster for number 29190624000002.001?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stead?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve petition for reimbursement of excess funds for from tax sale of real property by Stanley D. Foster for number 29190624000002.004?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve a lease agreement with the City of Wetumpka for the use of the courthouse veranda for the Wetumpka High School pep rally on Thursday, November 30, 2017 at 6 p.m.?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve the modifying commission meeting rules of procedure?
Motion.
Go ahead.
Motion to
Give it
approve.
Commissioner Mercer.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve modifying the alcohol beverage license procedures?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to carry over the resolution to close county offices in emergency conditions so that our attorney can make the adjustments?
Make a motion.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve declaring attached list of highway department vehicles surplus and consider selling vehicle 156 through govdeals.com?
Motion. To
Second.
approve.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve the consent docket as listed?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Personnel notifications. Notification of classifying Tanya Hand from mapping clerk to GIS tech, effective 11/27/17. Notification of hire of Cameron Ricks, part-time corrections officer, to fill vacant position, effective 11/12/17. Notification of termination of Chase Jenkins, corrections officer, effective 11/7/17. Notification of resignation of Ryan Brown, corrections officer, effective 11/16/17. Any additional reports from Mr. Byer or Mr. Courtney?
No, sir.
Any additional reports from the commission?
Mr. Chairman, two fun events coming up in District 2, Tallahassee Christmas Parade, 10 a.m. Saturday morning, Eclectic Christmas Parade, 2 p.m. Saturday afternoon. And by the way, the Crossroads Bazaar that was just held in North Elmore County on Saturday drew over 1,000 people. So a lot of fun things, a lot of good things, family entertainment going on in District 2.
Great. Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.